Just kidding. I could hear you the whole fucking time. Welcome. Pardon me. It's a big hit. Hi, everybody. It's time for the program. Nice to see you. Good to be here. Time for the Dean Blundell Show radio extravaganza. Except we're not on the radio. We're on a podcast, which is nice. And we've got a show for you today, like a real actual show. We're going to look at things. We're going to talk to people. We're going to talk about things. And joining us on the podcast today, brought to you by Blue Microphones, where you can only get the greatest podcast broadcast equipment, Blue Microphones. Follow them on Twitter at Blue Microphones, or go to deanblundell.com for more. Also, you can join our Show Us Your Pod contest, which we'll talk about in just a couple of minutes. And Owner's Box Fantasy Sports. Make your life fun, people. Owner's Box Fantasy Sports. Free to play. $50 free deposit when you sign up. It's the best. They match your deposit. So thank you to our friends at Owner's Box. And please welcome to the show my friend Darrin Pfeiffer and my other friend Darryl Sprig, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi. Hello.
Nice to see you. Good to see. We can literally see each other, which is really cool. And I was getting nostalgic before we started talking, and I was like, really, thanks, guys. It's so good to see you. It's so nice to see people that I used to work with.
That's funny, Dean, because when we were all working together, you talked so much shit about Darryl.
No, I didn't. Never once. Never
I'm
once.
kidding.
I'm kidding.
Wait, that was me. I talked shit about Darryl to you.
Yeah.
That's-
No, you never
that's-
talk shit about people. You guys weren't shit talkers. I don't think you were. You weren't like when we were at the Edge. You guys weren't like troublemakers. You know, you guys were like super fucking nice. Like the two of the nicest people I've ever worked with. Both of you guys. Really, seriously.
I wish we could hold hands, like if we were in the studio for real.
We can. One day we'll hold hands. I'll hold your hand.
We could touch wieners.
Docking? Is that called docking?
It is called docking. But one guy has to be uncut.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, so he wraps the foreskin around the tip that is cut, and then that's called docking?
Correct.
They dock?
Darrin's the expert.
Docking, yeah. We got Sean, your producer, showing us how docking works. He's an expert.
He's doing it with his fingers, like I'm not an imaginative person. I already get it.
Hey, people can't see Sean, can they? Can they see him?
No.
So what's your title, Sean? Producer? Is it producer?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Sean, turn on your microphone, dude. You can talk. Fuck, relax. This isn't. I don't want to do a radio show where you're like, well, the producer doesn't talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's when the tip just nips onto the other tip.
We're still talking about docking.
He's saying when the tip nips under the other tip. That's what he said.
He's an expert at it, I guess. I don't know. Do you know? I just realized, Dean, who Sean looks like. It just dawned on me.
Who's that?
He looks like that murderer, Danny Heatley. But I think I might have taken that one too far. I might have gone too far with that. I think I went
in the background.
Ottawa.
You know, the last time I heard a Danny Heatley joke was like 10 years ago. And so you can tell we haven't seen each other for a long time, and you haven't watched much television. So you're pulling Danny Heatley jokes.
Again,
yeah.
Just a heads up.
He looks like Danny Heatley.
Looks Danny Heatley meets Andre Kopitar.
Yeah, a little bit. You could have left out murderer, like, you know.
Then it wouldn't have been funny.
That's the new us. If we're ever going to do a radio show again, which we're going to talk about, I don't know if we can do shit like that. Because because part of me sort of feels bad for Danny Heatley. Like,
I know, I totally feel bad.
I know he killed a guy, but like, that was it for him. His life was in the shitter every day after that. And I know he, you know, had or was drinking a lot, but. That's still a funny joke to me because he murdered a guy. Like it's not like you're making fun of the guy that got murdered if you really want to break it down, right? Yeah. And I think about stuff like that all the time when I hear like these. So when I hear jokes or like off-color shit, my instant default is like going right to the worst possible thing, much like you, Darrin. So this is going to be an electric factory. This is going to be a fucking electric factory. Anyway. Yeah. And then there's Darryl Sprig, professional broadcaster, who joins us. Hi, Darryl Sprig.
Thanks for having me. Glad I could get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, sorry. How are you?
I'm. Do you want me to be completely honest?
Yes, I do.
I don't know what I ate earlier this afternoon, but when I had to excuse myself with puke just before we started.
Wow. So we already got murderers and puking. And we're not even 2 minutes in.
I just threw up.
Are you serious?
I threw up. I brushed my teeth real quick, and then I sat back down.
What the fuck's wrong with you? Did you seriously? You puked right? Like, are you good now? Are you okay now?
Good now. It's like I started making dinner earlier, and I'm like, oh, my stomach doesn't feel so right. Maybe like, okay, so I'll drink some water, have a piece of bread, and dinner will make it better. But that seemed to make it worse. So
what'd you have for dinner?
Just some like chicken and
rice.
No rice.
Chicken and snap peas. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, and some sweet potato. I mashed it.
Oh, okay. All right. Sweet potato. Yeah, that's not bad. There's a chicken and snap peas. It's like, fuck. That's any moron can do that. And I don't take you for a moron. You're a bit of a Renaissance man. Although I will tell you this. The only meal I ever cooked girls whenever I was trying to like impress them was chicken and rice and probably some snap peas. Because that's unfuck-upable, right? Like, you can't fuck that up. Put some salt on some chicken, and you put it in the oven for like 30 minutes, and then you fucking wash some snap peas.
They take like 5 minutes. You steam them in a little basket.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you puked. Now, was it nerves, maybe?
No,
were you nervous?
No. I've been on microphone. I don't get nervous about that anymore. It's
because you're a professional broadcaster.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so now let me recap with everybody who's just catching up because I feel like I have to. Darryl Sprig, Darrin Pfeiffer, and I worked at a radio station, a little outfit back in the 2000s, early 2000s, called The Edge. And we had a great time there. We were number one in the city, all of us, for years and years and years and years, and really close. None of us ever had a run-in with each other, did we? Did we ever have a disagreement? Was I ever a dick to either one of you guys intentionally?
Nope, not at all.
No? Can we clear that up, actually? Can we do that while we're here? I figure might as well.
Me and you got along like a house on fire, Dean.
Yeah.
And me and Darryl, we always worked similar shifts, so we compared notes. I compared notes with him a lot.
I did mornings. You guys did swing, which is kind of all over, from mornings to middays to afternoons. Darryl did afternoons for a while, middays for a while. So, yeah, it's you guys would see each other in passing, and I would see invariably one of you guys easily once or maybe 4 times a week, right?
Do you guys want to know the only person at that station that I did not get along with, and we had run-ins, was Bookie.
Really?
God rest his soul. But we had a couple. We had a couple run-ins. Yeah, I'd walk in and he was doing a break one time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was finishing his break. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get out of here tonight at the Horseshoe. I'll be blah blah blah, and over here I'll be over here." I grabbed the remote control and I changed the channel to sports, so TSN or whatever, or news.
I know it's coming.
He jumped off the air and he put his headphones down. And he goes, "Don't you ever touch my fucking remote control when I'm on air!" And I was like, then I changed. I was like, you know what, Bookie, fuck you. And he goes, "No, you're a newbie, and you're not anything, and it's my show, not yours." And there's people there, and they're like, "What's going on with Bookie?" And I'm like, you know what? And Rick what's his name? Adam Ricard was the producer of Borat.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'm like, "No, I changed it to the fucking sports. You're leaving in 30 seconds. Like, what's the big?" He's like, "Oh, yeah." I go, "You didn't even see the screen change. You were looking at the microphone and talking." He's like, "It's my station. I don't walk in here on the fucking air and change the channel." I go, "You can. I don't care, Bookie." He'd go, "Ah!" And he'd walk. And then whenever we saw each other, he'd be like, "Nah." And I'd be like, "Wow, you're a fucking grizzled old man. Take it easy."
Never saw that side.
So you guys weren't close?
Oh, he exploded. No, he exploded on me.
You guys weren't close, Boogie, who just passed? Yeah.
Yeah, but he got pissed at me one time because someone left a bottle of liquor there for him, and I drank it on the overnight.
Did you drink while you were working sometimes?
Oh, yeah, all the time. All the fucking time. Constant.
You know what's crazy is I never did once, and
it's 5:30 in the morning.
I don't drink anymore. Yeah, I know that, but it's fucking weird. Like, that was one of those things people sometimes ask me because I quit drinking like 3 years ago. Like, "Oh, that's too bad." I'm like, "Yeah, fuck, I drank too much. I had to quit. I had to get my life in order, figure out who I was, figure out what I wanted to do with my life, major life change, all the other bullshit."
I never got
but
drunk
I
on
never
air.
ever drank when I was at work, like, ever, and it never dawned on me that would be a good idea because it's like golf. I love golf, so I never drink when I'm golfing ever. And all my friends do. They get as fucking wasted as they can. And they're like, fuck, it's not fun unless you drink. I'm like, no, it's not fun if you drink. But every other aspect of my life, I would drink. Anyway, fuck. So, Bookie, back to Bookie.
Yeah, I drank some liquor of his. Like, I think it was a bottle
Lost
of
his mind.
white wine. And he knew it was me. But I denied it. To
You
fuck
lied.
with him. He goes,
You lied?
I did, I lied. And he goes, oh, you drank my wine. I go, I didn't touch your fucking wine. He goes, hey, it was there, and now it's not there, and no one else knows where it is. I go, look, maybe you lost your wine, you drunk. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know you fucking drank it. And there was no cameras. I don't think there were cameras then. And I was like, I drank your, in my mind, I'm like, I drank your fucking wine.
So can I ask you a question? Because this is going on in my head. You and him weren't close at all, right? Just to clarify.
No, not at all.
So
He
you
didn't
don't
like
you
that
don't
I
feel
got-
bad. You don't feel bad talking about this because he died. You're just telling a story about a guy who incidentally died. Because
Well, I just
I would
said-
like to bridge this. I would like to talk about this because it bothers me when we can't do this, right? When we can't tell stories about people who we had experiences with just because they died.
I did preface the story with God rest his soul.
Sure.
But
it doesn't sound like you're particularly interested as to whether his soul rests, is my point.
No, I am. As a good-hearted, moral person, I am interested. I want his soul to rest.
Okay.
I'm upset that he died early.
Yes. Good.
I just didn't get along with him. That's all.
All right, good. So, continue.
So yeah, I drank. We had run-ins. He didn't like the fact that I got the job because you got me the job, Dean. He didn't like the job that I got the job because Goldfinger was a popular band. He didn't think I paid my dues.
Yeah. So just so you know, he was not fond of me, in any capacity. So, and I never had any. I had a couple of conversations with Bookie. I really respected his knowledge. He was incredibly eclectic. He was really smart. He was really, really, really funny. He was really, really, really odd in a really cute way, and he loved people. But I never had a lot to do with him. Like, I just didn't, because our paths never crossed, really. And if they did, and if he had an umbrage with me, he would speak his umbrage, and then I would say the same thing I would say to everybody, which is what I say now. Oh, yeah, thanks. So that would be it. Because, but I can see what you're saying about him. And then Darryl, who had a very good relationship with Bookie before he passed. He had a great relationship with him, so he never saw any of that. It sounds like. Is that correct?
No, I mean, Bookie, the only time I saw him raise his voice when he got super excited about something, like usually a sports thing. Sometimes it often happened on the air, but I never saw him get angry. I mean,
I did.
I talked to Bookie quite a bit. I love talking to that guy and just picking his brain because it was, he was pretty incredible.
Yeah, he was awesome. Like at what he did, and he had the people. If it's fucking like everything. It's like everybody. Some people get along and some people don't. Some people have good experiences with some don't. Lots of people have had bad experiences with me. I've had bad experiences with them, and that'll dictate how you feel about people after they're here or when they're gone, right? Like, it's just fucking life. Just what it is.
Well, I know, and I also know he talked shit about me too.
Oh, okay. So you're not done. Okay, go ahead.
One thing in particular, Dean, Craig Lasky books the Horseshoe Tavern. He has been booking the Horseshoe Tavern forever and ever, and he's pretty sharp promoter.
Yeah.
Now, back when I was running my record label, I had some bands I wanted to get in there, and eventually I did, like Cauterize and Crush Luther, and they packed the joint. But he would give me so much grief. But before my initial fight with Bookie, he was like, "Oh yeah, Darren, I'll help you out. I'll give you a couple shows." And then me and Bookie had a couple run-ins, and then he was a total cunt to me. And he'd come into the station to grab Bookie when Bookie would go off air, and I'd come on, and they'd snicker at me, and I'd go, "You know what, and off air, of course." And as they're walking out of 228, I'm like, "You know what, Lasky, fuck you." He's like, they walk out laughing at me, like pointing at me, like.
What were they
like
laughing
bullies.
at? What were they laughing at?
I don't know how awesome I am. I don't know. Like fuck Craig Lasky and fuck the Horseshoe. But yeah, I hope Bookie rests well.
Yeah, well, good, because that's what you want, right? You want to have people rest well. That's traditionally the goal when they die.
I always got along with everybody. Dean, when you were on my podcast, in like the second episode, we talked about this kind of stuff a little bit, and I'm like, I don't know, I was oblivious to some of that stuff because I was just, like I said, I was happy to be there and I got along with everyone.
You're right.
or tried to. It didn't always work.
What do you mean it didn't always work? It never works. Who gives a shit?
It's
You're never
fun.
gonna get along with fucking everybody. Like, that's the thing. I you know, if I knew if I felt how I felt now, or if I knew what I knew now about the people that we worked with, I would still be the exact same. I just wouldn't have been as vitriolic or fucking short or angry. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just, you're gonna get along with people you get along with, and you're fucking not gonna get along with others. It's just kind of life, right? Like, we all get along, and there's a rumor out there I'm an asshole to work with, but you guys have never had a bad experience working with me, ever. I worked with you guys for like 100 years. 100 years.
Yeah.
And I don't care.
Super intimidated because I would do the overnights, and then you would come into the studio at like 5 o'clock and start prepping and printing some things off. And I was just like, I didn't want to do a break in front of you because I'd get a little bit nervous then.
Seriously?
But absolutely, yeah.
Why?
Because I worked in Timmins like the week before, and that no one gives a fuck about that place. So like then I got to the edge, and like when you would come in and start prepping things, I just kept it simple. I'm like, that was Blundell shows up next, and you'd print stuff off, and I'd be like, here you go, Dean. Here's your stuff that you're printing. But then then I got comfortable with it, and it was just all good after that. But you were always super nice. You were really nice.
I got a kick out of that because, like, and it's weird because radio isn't the same. I wrote an article on radio this week, and it was about what's wrong, I think, and I look at radio differently than I used to because it's dead, right? Like, nobody listens to the fucking radio anymore. Revenue's in the toilet. Everybody knows that. They've consolidated jobs. All the shit that comes with radio is antiquated. It's a one-dimensional, big net that you throw out there, and you hope you grab a couple clients, and I hope your dog isn't gonna kill somebody in the front yard, Darren. That's what I hope.
It sounds like it.
Stanley. That's Stanley, everybody.
That is Stanley. Yeah.
But the interesting part is how people would have a preconceived notion just because of the content, the entertainment that we delivered, right? So they would just think like, oh, this guy's a fucking prick, or this guy's really mean, or this guy's really hard. And so it would be difficult. I would already have to fight that notion when people come in. So I always tried to be extra nice to the people that I worked with. However, when things go sour and someone took advantage of something, that's when I would lose it. Granted, I was a fucking loose cannon and a total weirdo back then, but I will tell you this, is that it was the greatest learning experience of my life when it comes to why people are really fucking important, right? And what radio has done to destroy the entire industry by taking all those good people and saying you're not worth it. We're not going to pay you. We're going to just have some guy voice track your show that we used to value you for like $25 an hour out of Halifax because we don't really give a fucking shit. So bottom line is that relationships are the most important thing. And that's why this works, right? Because Darryl and I have been working for a while together. Darren just came on with his Dangerous Darren podcast at DeanBlundell.com. You can go subscribe right now on iTunes and everywhere you go, as well as the Darryl Talks to Bands podcast, which is at DeanBlundell.com. A little radio for you guys. Hey, radio.
Little promo break.
Little radio, everybody. Gonna do a little radio 101, little liner. Sponsored by Blue Microphones and Owner's Box Fantasy Sports here at DeanBlundell.com. Follow us on Twitch. Hey.
What's the temperature in Markham right now, Dean?
I don't know, like 8.
Oh, okay.
Why?
You might do time and temp check since we're doing radio stuff.
Remember that? Remember the time and temperature when it's like, and you know what's really funny is that I think back now to like air checks that we would have with program directors who'd never, ever, ever, ever had a modicum of any kind of on-air success ever in their fucking lives. They just weaseled their way into being a program director somehow. And they would tell you, they would sit and break down how you phonetically pronounced words and why you shouldn't say presentation instead of presentation. And they'd get mad about it.
Really?
Oh yeah, fuck, dude. These were called air checks. This was the greatest time of my life. So we had these air checks, and we would go through tapes with these people that had never done this job, and they would try and tell us what we need to do better to make them more money. And you would be like, I don't know, dude, we're number one, like, and you've never done this job before, and you don't know what you're fucking talking about. and you're 5'2". So I don't
Very
know if I'm. What's that? Yeah. or
Very
your
specific.
name's Dave Farrow, or your name's Alan Cross.
Ross Winters.
No, I liked Ross. I thought Ross knew what
I
he was
didn't
talking
like
about.
Ross.
Yeah, I know, but listen, you've already sewered a dead guy, so we're gonna just hang on for a second.
I liked all of them.
And I called a guy a murderer.
I'm directors.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
I know.
betting
I know.
1,000.
I know. So anyway, my
Can't hear me?
my point is that now there's no one to do air checks with, right? so there's no program directors to help these people get better, but those people weren't helping other people get better in the first place. Is it
Most companies have like 4
Weird.
program directors now too. Like a program director does like 6 markets, and so, I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
you probably get a lot less air checking.
Actually, we talked about this, Dean. My air checks with Alan Cross early on, like the first year or two, I valued them because I was a full fucking green rookie. I didn't know anything about radio, and Bookie should have been pissed. I didn't pay my dues. But because of tutelage of people like yourself and guidance of Martin Street.
And listen, you were a big fucking swinging dick in the Cracker Factory. You were the drummer in a fucking great big fat punk band. Like, we knew that when we hired you. It was a no brainer. It's the same reason why it's the same reason why I asked you guys to come and work with us. You guys are really fucking good at what you do. You have great big social followings. You know the business, and you know how to do content. I'm not going to go and find some guy with 3 followers who just likes to burp on fucking Twitter videos. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I've been burping online longer than Darrin has. Well, I don't give a fuck. It's just bad business. Anyway, continue. Go ahead.
But those early air checks with Alan were very helpful. But I took advice from people like you and Martin, and of course Darryl and others that were on the station as well. But when I got to Ross Winters, his air checks with me and him were very few and far between. But when they were like what you just said a minute ago. They were, well, maybe you should say that word differently, Dan. I don't know. And I'm like, well, and I'm writing it down like, okay, say the word differently. What word? He's like, I don't know, all of them. I'm like, oh, so it was a bad break. He's like, it's like, well, not really. I'm like,
you're exaggerating. He didn't say all your words better.
No, he just wasn't helpful at all. I walked away like more confused going in.
Yeah.
I remember when Darrin got hired, because I'd been there like maybe a month, and we're doing the same thing. So we're doing swing shifts, you're doing fill-in, you're doing weekends, overnights, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, how the fuck am I ever going to get any airtime when I'm doing the same job? You just hired the drummer from Goldfinger.
Sorry, buddy.
Then Darrin and I became great friends.
Yeah.
The other thing that was cool about after Darrin started there is that we discovered through a conversation of like, going up to the cottage, that your ex-wife had a cottage on the same lake that our family did. So it's like, and we partied up there with like my crazy cottage friends at the time. Everyone's grown up.
Crystal Lake.
Yeah, Darrin hit a launch ramp on a BMX bike going down like the sketchiest like hill boat launch without even thinking about it. He's like, yeah, I'll do that. And he got on the bike and did off he goes.
He's not there. He's fucking loose in the head. That's why. Like in general, like the other day we were 30 minutes into a podcast and he stood up and he was wearing no pants. He was shirt cocking it. And he's wearing pants now. Like he's wearing
pants on right now.
He's loose in the head. There's a fucking problem there.
Make an adjustment.
Hey, I got a question for you guys.
Before this started, right?
Yeah. Can I ask you guys a question? Did you watch Borat 2? You guys see that?
Oh my God, yes. Subsequent movie film, whatever it's called.
Thoughts, Darryl? You see it?
I thought it was great. I mean, what he's able to get from people on camera is just it's a talent. He's brilliant. I mean, people think it's stupid what he does, but it's really like it takes a lot of balls.
Who thinks he's stupid? Have you talked to someone that think it's disgusting and stupid?
Well, you hear that sometimes about his movies, that it's juvenile, it's dumb humor, it's this, that, but it's not. Most of it's not a script. Like he's just going out and getting stuff and then putting it into a film, which is stuff to do. So I think what he does is great. I thought Borat 2 was hilarious.
Better than the first one?
It's different. This one had a bit more political, and there was no like balls in the face, which was kind of nice.
I didn't mind it.
But the bakery and the Rudy Giuliani scene to me just made that movie. I'm like, that's fantastic.
Which scene? The Giuliani movie with the Giuliani scene in the weather?
And when he's in the bakery, when he gets them to write, Jews will not replace us.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. And she did it with like, yeah, no problem. Like it's a it's a regular thing that happened.
Yeah, and then Maria Bakalova, who plays his daughter in the movie, she's like, I want one too, and she throws a fit, and then she gets her own Jew cake as well. Did you that part?
And she swallows the baby, and he goes to the doctor, and
yeah.
I want the baby out of me.
I put the baby there.
I'm the father, and I put the baby in there. It's my fault. Ultimately,
do you know what I noticed about that scene too, which was fucking hilarious? I noticed that the guy was like super religious, and he wouldn't do the abortion. Like, you know, because even though they weren't talking about an abortion, they had him convinced it was about abortion. It wasn't about eating a little plastic cake on the top of a baby on the top of a fucking cupcake, right? But the doctor, and what I found fucking crazy about that scene was when the doctor was doing one of these. Listen, we don't do that because that life is there for a reason. He goes, and Borat's like, yeah, I put the baby in her. That's the reason. And he goes, and he's like, has that ever happened to you? And the guy's like, no, like, no. But the scene that everybody talked about, other than the Giuliani scene, it was the Moonblood debutante period dance. Now, we're going to bring that up, and I'm going to show it to people. They can see it if they're watching on Twitch. You can subscribe at twitch.tv/Dean Blundell TV, or just subscribe on YouTube. DeanTube is what it's called. And you can follow us on Mob Crush, Facebook as well, DeanBlundell.com on Facebook, and, of course, on DeanBlundell.com. And on Twitch, @It's Dean Blundell. It's everywhere. Just type my name and fucking figure it out. So anyway, I hate the cheesy liners now. I've gone like so. That's why I hated sports radio as much as I did. I just felt like I was a giant fucking loser the whole time. And coming up next, who hit 5 dingers last night in 3 innings? We'll let you know. Anyway, So the Moonblood scene, the Moonblood debutante period dance. Now, I'm just going to set this up for everybody. So, okay, now this is Maria Bakalova. She is playing his daughter in the movie Borat 2, Sacha Baron Cohen's daughter, and it's their turn to come in and dance. Every father and daughter come into the debutante thing, and they've hijacked this debutante dance, and so she's coming in to do something called the Moonblood dance. Back in her native Kazakhstan, this is a big deal for a rite of passage. It's when women have their periods.
It's like a quinceañera.
So, yeah, whatever. I don't know what you just said, but sure. We'll go with that one.
Move on.
So she comes in and she starts lifting up her skirt. And after she lifts up her skirt, you can start to see blood. Then, all of a sudden, part 2, they pan to the crowd. They're sick to their stomachs. She then pulls her dress all the way up, lifts up her leg, and shows her entire crotch, which is clearly menstruating. There is a bunch of stuff happening in there. It is nothing that anybody wants to see. And people are now starting to get grossed out. But it lasts forever. And it gets even more egregious. And to the point where they're doing the crab leg where they're on their backs. And she's kicking her legs up with doing the spread eagle with Sacha Baron Cohen, who has a giant smile on his face like a proud father. But the blood is getting worse. It's coming now. It is like everywhere. It is like the wreck of the fucking Hesperus down there. You know what? It is. You know what it is? It's Gettysburg, and it is awful. It's Civil War stuff, and then they do this big thing at the end where she goes spread eagle and lays on her back, and then Sacha Baron Cohen points to it like ta-da, and one total degenerate dad is standing there clapping like, yeah, I like that. And
it's a hard watch.
What it is, and it's not, because what he was doing, he was destroying these colonial, patriarchal norms. He was going after the dumb, white, traditional, evangelical, rich, high society, elitist bullshit, and he was going to bleed all over the debutante ball. And that's what I got out of it. And so I appreciate, and here's the thing, is when I'm watching it, I couldn't fucking stop laughing. Like, I had to stop it, and I've never in my life watched a movie that I've had to physically stop because I didn't want to miss any more of it because I was laughing that hard.
Yeah, I agree. I found the same thing, a lot of laughs through that, and I can find a lot of movies that people say, "Oh, that movie's so funny," that I can watch and not laugh once. Sometimes, like with Borat, I found myself laughing through the majority of the movie.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't, and it was fucking damning. Like I didn't know there were so many stupid Americans, really stupid. Like if you're Rudy Giuliani. Are you kidding
I'll let
me?
Darren go. I think I'll be back in a second.
You got to puke again?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you go puke.
Well, I wonder if it was some kind of Rod Stewart situation with Darryl.
What do you mean? Still nervous?
Google it. Rod Stewart.
Why does he puke?
Well, there's this old folklore story of back in the day that Rod Stewart had ingested large amounts, allegedly, I'm going to use that, allegedly, of semen.
Oh my god!
And then puked before one of his shows because he had allegedly swallowed a lot of semen.
That's not true. You know how many?
Of course, it's not true.
Do you know how many semen pumping of stomachs full of semen stories I've heard over the past 30 years? Like every member of NSYNC had to be rushed to 911. Every member of the Backstreet Boys, like Menudo, everybody. If you were in a Boy 98 Degrees, it was the same fucking hilariously stupid rumor I heard about every boy band back in the 90s. Like I heard they had to have their stomach pumped. You know what it was in it, right? and the other one was like hockey players. When hockey players would get traded instantly and you didn't know why, and the only rumor out there was like, I heard he fucked a bunch of wives. That's what happened. Fuck that guy's
I got
wife.
a true story about Eric Lindros. I can tell you.
No, please don't. Please don't. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to do any of that here. I really like Eric Lindros, and I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Fair enough.
I just that's a can of worms I don't want to. I'll open up all kinds of worms. I let you talk about the guy we worked with who's just died, and I'm like, I don't care. But it's the Eric Lindros one. I'm not interested in pursuing.
All right.
It's just the same rumor, is what I'm saying. It's the same silliness. I'd like to hear it.
It actually came from a credible source.
I don't need to hear it. That's what I'm saying.
All right,
I'll
tell you later.
And
I'll tell you later. No.
Think Darryl's going to make it back, everybody? Darryl, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us for the Dean Blundell Show at deanblundell.com, courtesy of our friends at Blue Microphones, at Blue Microphones on Twitter, and Owner's Box Fantasy Sports. Owner's Box, greatest fantasy sports platform, weekly fantasy sports platform on the planet. Darrin Pfeiffer at Darrin99 on Twitter, at Darryl Spring.
Darrin 99 on Twitter, yeah.
It's 6:53 and 8 degrees.
The Leafs play the Senators tonight at the ACC.
Choose Enzo. Just type that in there to our Twitter thing. You can see people's fucking tweets. You can interact with us on Twitch.
Gene, what's that sports betting? It's called Owner's Box?
Owner's Box Fantasy Sports. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. You will never watch sports the same way again when you get.
I'm gonna get it.
Get it on your phone. Owner's Box.
Should I put some money on the Dodgers? What's the over?
No, you don't bet there. You go play fantasy sports there. But
fantasy.
Yeah, Dodgers playing tonight.
Yeah.
You're a big Dodgers fan. I am a big Dodgers fan. I laughed my dick off when
See, I don't want to talk about this.
When they lost that game 8-7 the other night, and it was just you just knew it was coming. You just knew it was going to be an enormous collapse. But then Clayton Kershaw goes out, throws a gem. They could clinch tonight. How do you feel, Darrin? Living in LA, being a Dodger fan as you are, how do you feel today? Are you nervous? Are you weirded out? Because you guys are the fucking Braves of the 2000s.
Yeah, they won a lot of titles, but they are pennants, but they only won a handful of titles. The Dodgers are the same way. We're only on our 9th NL West title and our 3rd World Series, but we lost because of cheating with the Houston and Boston. But I feel good tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's back. Hold it. Darryl Spring has made it back from the bathroom. How you feeling? Did you just puke again?
Yeah, cold sweats. It's not good.
Do you want to maybe beg off the pod, or you want to come back?
I think it's probably a good idea. Okay. I was still looking forward to swapping some stories. Here, I'll tell you one before I go. Actually, I got
Okay.
two.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Darryl Sprig right now is playing hurt. He just
All right.
puked for the second time. He's got the cold sweats. He needs to get out a couple of stories about when we work together. Go, Darryl Sprig, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm a fucking Game 7er, Dean. That's what I am.
Boy, yes, sir.
So one of them, we were talking earlier about whether you would ever, if you ever drank while you're on the air. Darren said he drank often on the overnights. I didn't. But there was one time where I used to do a club gig out in Oshawa with DJ Shawarma. He would DJ and I would host, and it was on Friday nights, and it would go on after Republic, the live to air that Josie did. So we would go on the air at 2 a.m., but we were there at like 10 o'clock, and we did the whole thing. So it happened that my 30th birthday fell on one of those nights, and I have a bunch of friends that live out in like Pickering, Whitby, Ajax kind of area, like all out in the 905, and they came to this live to air.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many shots of Jaeger and whatever got passed through the DJ booth, but an obscene amount, to the point where I got on to do the live to air, and I was just I was a hammered, like it was bad.
You were wasted ass drunk on the air doing a show. Were you slurring?
Yes.
Did you
big time.
slur?
Craig G took the microphone out of my hand.
Did he really?
Yeah, and thankfully, thank God he did that.
Quick question.
At the studio,
Yeah.
Courtney was opping, and then and Steph was over at Q107, and they were like talking about it, and they're like, "This is really bad." And then anyhow, Craig finished the show, but I thought I was getting fired after that for sure.
No, you don't fire people for getting wasted on the air. That doesn't happen unless they wanted to fire you to begin with, then they'd fire you. That's how radio worked, and still
then,
works.
Yeah, and it also with the Game 7 attitude. The next day, I DJ'd a street party for the Grey Cup, which was down in Toronto that year. So it was down on Front Street. So I was like extremely hungover, and I went out and stood.
That's right.
And played.
You do the crime, you do the time, Darryl. That's what you do when you fucking drink. Listen, I used to live like that when I drank too. Nothing ever prevented me from fucking showing up to do radio. Nothing. You could shoot me in the shoulder and I'd still finish the show. It wouldn't matter to me. I'd worked with back when you could work sick. Remember that, when you could go out with a cough and go work sick, or like get in. I used to chastise the guys I worked with for coming in sick. If they didn't come in sick, I'm like, you fucking pussy. Do you know what we get to do today, and you're not fucking coming in? Do you understand that? Do you understand
How dare
that we get
you
to
not
talk
come
to
in
like
here and spread your disease?
a million
How dare
people?
you?
Get the fuck in here. Cover your mouth when you cough and produce people. And so yeah, I don't talk to those guys anymore. But other story, Darryl. You got another one? You said you had 2 stories. I didn't want to stop you because you're playing hurt.
Yeah, I did have another one.
Did you forget it?
I did forget it.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think I can puke again, but I think I need to be like horizontal for a little bit.
Okay, yeah, you go. Listen, this happened. We hired several people. This happened to all of them. It's just jitters. It is. You're just listen. You're just freaked out because you're like, listen. I'm on with the drummer from Goldfinger. He's in L.A. He's big time. Blundell, biggest podcast network in Canada. He's like, what am I gonna fucking do? And so you're like making your debut. This is sort of a tryout, and I got to tell you, passed with flying colors.
All right.
Yeah, and the chicken and chickpeas aren't sitting well.
Yeah.
No.
Cook
Or
the
whatever.
chicken better. Cook
What
the
was it?
chicken better.
Chickpeas? What
Snap
was it now?
peas. Snap
peas.
Yeah.
Snap peas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy, you go and get horizontal. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry I had to bail.
No, this is just going to add to the legend of the fucking podcast.
Game
Swear to
7,
God.
man. You
Swear to
scored,
God.
you scored a couple goals. Now go ice up that knee.
Can you do me a favor, though? Can you do me a favor? Can you brush your
Anytime.
teeth?
I will. Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks, pal. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye. There you go. That's Darryl Sprig, everybody. Darryl Talks to Bands, episode 35, by the way, is on the website right now. It's fucking really good. It's the punk metal band called Rockin' Engine. Have you heard these guys?
No.
Fuck,
Yeah.
they're good. They melt. They shred, as they say. They go for it. They can't be stopped. Anyway,
Okay.
Darryl
I'm gonna
Sprig.
I hope
ladies and
Darryl
gentlemen.
feels better. I'm concerned about him, you know?
I am too.
Whenever someone gets a little sick, especially nowadays, you never know,
Do you know what I was telling him too the other day? Have you heard about this new craze now? It's called porn podcasting. Have you heard about this? It's awesome. It's like the biggest market of I want to add one to deanblundell.com. It's like a huge, massive fucking market, and people pay huge money to be talked dirty to on a podcast for like half hour. So what happens is like I was telling Darryl, because he's got such, like, his voice is unbelievable. He's got this crazy fucking great radio voice. Got no problem saying it. He's one of the most professional sounding broadcasters I've ever heard. And sort of like a sexy sort of tone to it too, right? Like, if I didn't know any better, you'd go, wow, maybe that guy wants to do it all the time if I was a chick.
Why don't you make out with him, Dean? Ask him on a date. I don't know if you've seen anybody right now.
I don't think he is. But my point is this, and he's recently divorced too, which is good. My point is this.
It's always good to be recently divorced.
Yeah, it is. It's the best.
It's always good.
It's the best. I'll get into that in a second. I want him to do porn podcasting. Think about it. I want you to do it too, because it'd be like you're just a lot of times. And I listened to some of it the other day because they had this big article on it in the Post, and I'm like, oh fuck, what is this? Porn podcasting? Is it a growth area? Can I make money at it? That's what I was thinking.
Is it a growth area?
Yeah. So of course it is. And I listened to it, and the start of it was really funny. It was just this like one chick going, "Oh yeah."
That's it.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, you like that? That feels so nice when you do that. Oh yeah. And I'm like, fuck, this is like ASMR for like perverts. So I want to get Darryl to start doing it, because I think we can make some pretty good money.
I think you were ahead of the curve on this, Dean. You were way ahead of the curve, actually, on the porn podcast. You had a bit called Ho or Home Improvement, if you remember that bit, where you'd take clips and you'd play it, and then people had to guess if it was from a porno movie or if it was from a home improvement video.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite bits.
Yeah, and now the thing is, all that radio stuff, like getting back into radio, now all that radio stuff, I'm like, you can't do that. That's not entertaining anymore to me. You know what I mean? Like, is this because I want to see stuff? I don't want to hear it. Like, I'll do both if it's a podcast, but everybody wants to see it. And that's radio's entire fucking problem, is that it's so one-dimensional. Everybody's just going there for live programming, and basically everybody's playing music now. Nobody's doing anything that's worth anything, right? So, which is why we're going to start a radio station with Darryl if he ever stops puking.
We check on him a little here, make sure he's okay. Hey, what's your temperature, buddy? You all right? You okay?
You all
Want me
right?
to call the COVID cops? Come over there and
no, COVID isn't vomitous. You don't vomit with the COVID. No, you don't vomit.
It's all respiratory, right?
Anyway, listen, I hope LA wins tonight. I do. I really do. Just for Clayton Kershaw and Dave Roberts. I think they're both fucking stand-up people, and that organization has spent their way to nothing for the past like 10 postseasons. So it'll be nice. I hope they win, just so you know.
I love Dave. Not so much for Dave because he's got his ring already with the Sox, but it's more Kershaw. He's one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the most strikeouts in postseason. He took over Verlander's spot. He just got a tough break a couple of years there with those losses.
Every year.
A bad rap. But this year he seemed to wipe the slate clean. Yeah. He pitched a gem, and he might pitch again.
He pitched two gems. And they'll use him tonight if they're up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they got a nice problem. They got to start with Gonsolin, and then they got May, they got Urias, Kershaw, Buehler. Mm-hmm. I mean, they get the goddamn win tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see what Roberts does tonight as far as pitching. But then again, the Dodgers could go up 7-1 just like that, and the game's over.
Yeah.
In the second inning.
And then they could drop that lead in the 8th and 9th inning like they did a couple of nights ago too. So
you're just not going to let that go, eh?
No, I'm not going to let it go. When I was watching it, is there something wrong with me in that capacity that, like, I'm a fan of teams, but the narrative of misery is like I take great pleasure in it somehow. Like it's weird. It's like every year the Leafs lose in the first round, it gets funnier and funnier to me. Whereas, like, old guys are like, I was gonna die next year and now I can't. I gotta wait another year to die.
You didn't hear that from anybody. It'd be hilarious if he did. I was gonna die. But maybe the Leafs will beat the Bruins next year.
But is there something wrong with me in that capacity where, like, I enjoy that narrative, like the lucky losers? I don't want to see the Leafs win, like, ever, just because it's funny to watch.
Dean, there's something wrong with you on a lot of capacities.
I think there is. Like, I've never tried Coke. Someone said that to me the other day. By the way, I bought a bet on, and let me explain the whole story about cocaine. The cocaine story starts with me buying a bet on Kijiji. Okay.
Right.
So I buy this bet on Kijiji because I needed a specific bed, couldn't find it. The ones that I was looking for were like fucking thousands of dollars because my son's got a smaller room and he needs a double loft bed because he's got a double mattress, right? So hard to find, found one, went to go get it, picked up the parts, came back, missing a part, went to go meet this guy again. Nice guy. And so I phone him from this parking lot of a coffee shop, which will remain nameless just in case they advertise. And I said to him,
is it named after a hockey player?
It is. So,
Okay.
And they have shitty sandwiches.
Is it Boya Salming's place?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Stan Mikita's.
Stan Mikita.
Stan Mikita's Donuts.
Wayne's World.
So he phones me and he goes, hey, I'm almost there. Listen, when I get there, do you want to go for a rip?
A rip.
Now, keep in mind, I met the guy once for 5 minutes to pick up most of the bed. Don't know him. It's a Kijiji relationship. It's like I needed something, went on Kijiji. I'm like, fuck yeah, that looks great. Yeah, got it. You want to go for a rip? He says. And I go, what's a rip? So I said to him, what do you mean, like a smoke? He goes, like I'm an idiot. He goes, fuck no. I mean, you want to do some blow when I get there? And I'm like, fuck no. And then all of a sudden it hit me. Like, I'm shocked by the fact the guy I'm getting a bed frame from wants to do a bunch of coke when we hook up. Like, just shocked by the whole thing. But I also don't want to make him feel like I'm belittling him for having a coke habit that's bad enough that you want to do it when you get out of the car for your Kijiji hookup. You know what I mean?
Total stranger. Total stranger.
Like
Coke
someone you
hookup.
fucking don't know at all. And so as I start over explaining myself, I'm like, not that there's anything wrong with that. You know, I know a lot of people that have done a lot of coke, and I'm sure coke's fine. You know, I'm sure a lot of people love coke, and I'm sure coke's great. I got friends that swear by coke. They've been doing it for 30 years, not a problem. All that stuff. And so he's like, yeah. I just want to know if you want to do some coke. I got some coke. I don't have kids tonight. And I'm like, oh, you're a father. Oh, that's great. You know, and trying not to judge the guy, but it was the fucking weirdest thing because he seriously couldn't believe that I didn't do coke and have never done it. No, and I would be honest. I would tell people if I'd done coke, and I've never ever tried coke, never tried heroin, never done anything other than smoke pot and drank way too much. So that was it.
Never did acid.
Never. Have
Shrooms?
you? Is it no?
Oh, yeah.
Never.
A
I want
bunch.
to try shrooms. I want to try acid.
Your producer Sean did acid. No,
Sean, you haven't tried acid? No.
No. He's like telling us to be quiet.
Sean, just so you know, when you put your finger up after he says you put your hand up and claimed you've done acid, there's no going back from that. Just so you know, Sean. There's no
He's trying though.
Yeah.
He's backpedaling.
Sean, you can speak. There's no going back from you putting your hand up in the middle of a podcast saying, "Yeah, I've done a lot of acid. I love acid. I'm on acid right now."
Not a lot. You know, I've tried it once. You got to try everything once. I haven't tried everything.
I disagree with that. Very premise.
I've tried everything, but
I agree with Dean. You don't have to try everything once. I mean, I've never had a penis on my butt.
Yeah.
I haven't tried.
Somehow
I've never tried it. I don't want to try it once, just once. I don't want to try it at all.
No.
I've had other things. I've had other things in there. I just not a human.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, I'm a freak. What do you want?
Yeah, I know you are. I know you are. I
have a couple extra octanes in my gasoline tanks. But
have you always been like that? Have you always been like this, where like you just growing up in Buffalo? Would you be the kid that everybody would go, how are we going to get that out of the tree? And you're like, fuck, I'll do it. Was that you?
I would just chop the tree down. My cat's in the tree. I'll get a chainsaw. Problem solved.
Because you seem like that kind of guy. You seem like the kind of kid that would just fucking if anybody needed someone to try something, you know, like if
I was never the Jim Morrison in the group. No.
if you were around like 5 of your friends and you're walking around the train tracks and you came upon a body and everybody was standing there, guaranteed you would be the guy that go, I'll kick it. I'll see.
Oh no, I would kick the body. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You'd see if
I
he
would
was
kick the
alive.
body.
Nobody else would kick the body. You would kick
What
the
is
body.
that? What's that in your hand there? Do you want me to swear in the Bible?
No, it's my book. I make
It's your
notes.
book?
Yeah.
All right.
I make notes about things that I want to talk about.
I did cocaine, back on the cocaine story. I did cocaine and it had no effect on me. A couple times and I never felt
That's
the
not
sensation.
true.
It's
That's
100%
not
true. The first time I did it was with the punk rock band out of Canada called the Day Glow Abortions.
There's a name, huh?
Yeah, they're well known punk rock band.
Yeah, I know who they are.
I believe they're out of BC.
Mm-hmm.
And they played Buffalo, New York, and it was 1987, and I was living with my roommate who was into my band, Beyond Death, which would break up and become Cannibal Corpse, but that's another kettle of fish. So we're at the show, and they're like, hey, we're looking for some place to sleep tonight. And me and Frank go, well, let's have them over. They come over to the house. We get a bunch of beer. We're sitting in the living room. It's like midnight or 1.
What's
and
the house like? What's the house like? I picture a shitty couch with no legs that's collapsing in the middle. I picture a couple lawn chairs. I picture like a TV that's busted, made out of wood, sitting on the floor. I picture really gross carpet and everybody's wearing shoes because no one's taking their fucking shoes off.
Cinder blocks.
Is am I right? Cinder blocks
No.
with like a plywood top table for a coffee table.
No, my roommate sold marijuana, so he had a nice apartment.
Oh,
He had a lot. He had money. He had
Okay.
money. And we had like all the space so for the band to sleep. And all of a sudden, there's a knock on the door, and it's our buddy, and he's panicking. He's
Right.
freaking out. He forces his way in. He goes, "Shut the lights off in the kitchen." So we shut the lights off, and we're like, "What the fuck, dude?" And he goes, "I just found this bag. I was walking down the street, and this car whizzed by and threw a bag out the window, a gym bag, and then a cop car, right behind him." And I go up to the bag, I open it up, and it's this bag of cocaine. It looks like a nickel bag. It was like a cigar, basically a cigar worth of cocaine, a big cigar. And he opens it, rolls it out, and he's like, "Look at this." And we're like, "Holy shit, that's the most cocaine we've seen in our lives." And he goes, I turn the lights off. I'm petrified. There's like it's a mob. That's kind of mob shit. There's cops everywhere. So we go and we shut the lights off, keep them calm. We're like, "The Day Glow Abortions are here." He's like, "No way." So we go around the corner. We're like, "Hey guys, everyone's having beers, smoking joints."
Yeah.
And I go, "Anybody want to do some blow?" And they go, "You guys got blow?" And we're like, "Ching!" And they're like, "Holy fuck!" So the Day Glow Abortions and us ripped through that whole bag of cocaine until like 6 in the morning. I had maybe a couple lines and it didn't feel anything, but the guys in the band, if you ever see Day Glow Abortions, anybody, walk up to them and go, "Cocaine in Buffalo, New York, the apartment cocaine." They're going to be like, "Oh yeah, that's like the thing of legend."
Yep.
We went through the whole bag. And
Did you were you sick after? Because you don't have addiction issues. Like you're a punk rocker. You're a legendary music producer. You are like a fucking big time content creator now and hired gun professional drummer, and you're in that scene like all the time, and you manage to never have develop any addictions or any. I don't know your inner story, but like you're one of the most normal human beings I know, despite the fact you're fucking weird.
Yeah, besides some things go in my butt. Besides that, I'm pretty normal. No, I never developed any substance abuse of any kind. I drink alcohol, but I drink it intermittently. Like tonight, I might have a couple beers watching the Dodgers, but then 3 days go by, I don't have any alcohol at all. I'm what people that have had problems, and I know a lot of them in the music industry, people that have had drug problems, alcohol problems.
Yeah. Mental health issues as a result. Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are called singers. But yeah, they call
like I
me
bet the guy from Third Eye Blind is like that. I bet you he's just atrocious to be around.
Well, he's a singer,
and the lead singer of Smash Mouth. The lead singer of Smash Mouth too. I bet you he's.
What's his name? Steve.
I don't know.
Harwell.
Didn't you have a guy from Smash Mouth on your show a while ago?
Yeah, Greg Camp.
Yeah,
buddy of mine. Yeah.
Yeah. Is he in the band with them? Like, is he?
No, he left. He left the band under some circumstances.
And so he thinks that the lead singer in the band is just a bunch of fucking yahoos too. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. Good.
It's always the singer, Dean. If anybody's listening, if bands break up, 90% of the time 85, 90% of the time, it's the singer being a total asshole. And the other guys are like, hey, we gave you a lot of room, a lot of rope, and you hung yourself, and we're out. And or the singer goes, you're out of the band, and the guy goes, that's cool. You're a fucking asshole. I just can't take it any longer. And my story with Goldfinger is no different.
Yeah.
But I was telling a story, and it had a crux, but I forgot where I was.
You were talking about how you around a bunch of guys, but you never developed a drug habit.
Yeah, these guys have saw my ability to stop drinking, like literally on tour, anywhere in the world, and I'll have, let's say 5 beers, 6 beers. And then they'll offer me another beer at the party or backstage, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. I think I've had enough. Like, these guys would look at me and they'll say, what's wrong with you? What?
Yeah.
How are you able to, or whatever, and just have a bender?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm a normie.
Yeah, exactly. You're fine. You're like, you don't feel the need to escape from anything, right? So it's like,
I'm drinking. Last time you saw me, I was drinking wine. Now I'm drinking water.
I get a kick out of Hunter.S.Thompson's drug habit. Do you ever read his drug and alcohol schedule, like that he wrote about years ago?
No.
A Day with Hunter.S.Thompson. Yeah, the drug schedule is incredible. He gets up at 3 p.m. 2 p.m. 2:45 Chivas Regal with morning papers, Dunhill cigarette. 2:45 cocaine. 2:59 another glass of Chivas Regal. 4 o'clock first cup of coffee. 4:15 cocaine. 4:16 orange juice, Dunhill. Cocaine 4:30, cocaine 4:54, cocaine 5:05, coffee and some smokes at 5:30, more cocaine, more Chivas at 5:45, 5:20. Then he has margaritas in his bedroom. He has a plate of tomatoes, coleslaw, taco salad, then more Chivas, more cocaine at around 5 p.m. And then he drops acid at 10 p.m., has a chartreuse, some more cocaine. Then he has more cocaine at 11:30 and midnight. That's when he starts to write. Like that. Well, that to me, I was reading his autobiography, and I was reading his day drug and alcohol schedule. What a day in the life of Hunter S. Thompson, Gonzo Raider looked like. And I was like, I wished I could be like that. You know what I mean? I wish that, and clearly he wasn't all together because he shot himself in the head in the end. But at the same time, I was like, wow, that totally shouldn't be endorsing this, but that's fucking impressive work.
Well, if it's true. It makes you wonder how much that is padded, embellished. I know a guy in a famous band, a famous rock and roll band.
Which band?
If I said, I can't say the name, but I can say Eric Lindros, but I can't say this guy's name, because he's a dear friend of mine. And if he found out I was talking about him,
I respect that.
He functions not similar to that schedule, but he's on a.
Like, what does his day look like?
He'll go to bed late and wake up. And he showed me basically that he bought a grapefruit-sized ball of cocaine in November, for $20,000, and that it just ran out in like September. A grapefruit size of cocaine, and I said, "Hey, how you doing? You seem a little off." And he goes, "Well, I stopped doing coke 4 days ago." And I said, "Oh, okay, well, that's cool." And he goes, "Yeah, I had a ball of cocaine the size of a grapefruit that I bought in San Francisco for 20 grand, and I just ran out." And it was like September, like a month ago.
Now
in November.
I'm a coke junior. I don't know a lot about coke. Is that a lot to do from November to September for most people?
Yeah, that's a lot of cocaine. I mean, a grapefruit.
Where does that fit on the?
Right?
Yeah, I know, but like, it just doesn't seem like that's a lot. I guess. To
it's
me,
a lot.
Okay, maybe it's a lot.
I guess some people can, like Hunter S. Thompson, can consume a lot of cocaine, I suppose, and so can this gentleman. Mm-hmm. But hey, if you're able to function, you're able to function. But I do worry about him. I mean, I do worry about his health, and it's going to become someone that does that much. He drinks too, drinks a lot.
Does he really?
Smokes.
Now I heard, and I could be wrong, but I heard when you do coke, you can drink more. Is that true?
You can. You can also on acid. Acid nullifies the effects of alcohol. I drank a whole bottle of E&J brandy once, because I was on like
wonder
3
if
hits
I
of
should
acid.
have. I wonder if I should have just done acid instead of stop drinking.
If you ever want to win a drinking contest, take some acid and you'll win it hands down.
Yeah, but the next day's got to be brutal. Like if you're just putting the effects off for a day, right? Like that's all you're doing.
I didn't drink the whole bottle. It was a big bottle of E&J. Me and my friend Ian took acid, drank the whole bottle. And we realized we drank the whole bottle, and we're like, "Are you drunk?" He's like, "No, but I'm tripping." I go, "Fuck, we just wasted all that money on that E&J." And then we realized when we do acid, we wrote it down. We're like,
Yeah.
when we do acid,
Don't mix
no
acid
liquor.
and weed, acid and liquor, because it's a waste of money.
waste.
I bet
of
you
money.
that's how a lot of guys feel after wearing condoms for years, and then he and the wife decide to pull the goalie, and then they've realized one of them's sterile. That's probably how they feel. Like, fuck, I wasted so much money on condoms.
Yeah, and I didn't get the sensation. I
And
had to put them on and
no kid.
dispose of them.
No kid.
You know what the worst is when you find a condom in public, and I think we've all found condoms in public at one point in our life. You're walking
Dude,
down the
I
street.
saw one on my walk. I go for these mega walks now because it's like so good to clear my head, and I'm right into like mental preparedness and anyway. So I'm doing these walks, and on my walks I focus on certain targets. It's like a focus exercise, and then you channel your breathing. It's awesome. It's incredible. It regulates your nervous system. I'll get into that in another podcast. But I'm walking, and I get to the corner, and it's right in front of a school, and there's a used rubber right on the crosswalk, and I'm like,
By the school?
how does that happen? Like someone whip it out the window, or yeah. So I get it.
Oh, no.
saw one like 2 days ago, maybe 3 days.
Did you pick it up?
Of course.
As one would.
Who doesn't pick those up?
We used to throw them at each other in Goldfinger.
Oh, come on.
We used to throw them. Yeah, we flick them on each other.
Like right after?
No, there'd be times where I'd be on the front of the bus after the show, having a drink. Techs are there, tour manager. We're having a good time. All of a sudden, Charlie, my guitar player, would just put one over my shoulder.
Oh, nice. That's
And then he'd tap, and I'm like, ah! And then flick it off. And then everyone's like, ah! And it'd be like, come on my sweater. I'm like, motherfucker! It's funny, Charlie. It's funny, but dude, that's your jizz.
Okay.
He's like, I know, it's fucking great. I go, no, it's not. I take my.
Have you heard about this? Did you hear about this title? I think it was in Taiwan or Thailand, one of the two. I'll look it up right now. Sean, you need to help me look this up too. Same thing. Is it got busted for like selling reusable rubbers? Did you hear about this?
I think I heard that story somewhere. Someone dropped me that story on some way. I'm not sure if it was Taiwan or Thailand.
Vietnam.
But I know.
It was in Vietnam. It was a police busted a scheme. This is back in September 25th, so it's like a month ago. They gassed this scheme. I'll read it to you. This factory owner is looking for legal protection in Vietnam. I love how they wrote this.
Legal protection.
Where police say they busted a scheme to resell more than 300,000 used condoms. A local resident gave police the tip.
And they went and found a reservoir of used condoms.
No, you got to listen to this story. It gets gross, though. It gets totally gross. Local resident gave police a tip that led to their big bust on Saturday. And they raided a factory outside Ho Chi Minh City, caught workers packing previously loved condoms for sale. The state-owned government said the factory owner claimed she bought the condoms off a man she met outside.
I'm surprised.
She met the guy outside.
I'm surprised at the sheer number of used condoms.
300,000. Yeah.
Even 300.
The guy hasn't been identified. It's unclear how the man. This is great too. It's unclear how the man might be able to obtain 300,000 used condoms. However, the factory received monthly input from that provider that said he could indeed satisfy the order of 300,000 used condoms.
Yeah, there's some good words in that story.
There you go. You can see them right there. You gotta. Those are all used condoms, people.
That can't be true.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, the story might be true, but 300,000, that's a lot of fucking used condoms. That's a lot.
Authorities said the bag of rubbers weighed over 360 kilograms, which suggests there may be as many 345,000 condoms in the bunch. Factory workers boiled condoms, dried them out, reshaped them with a wooden penis, a woman who did the work said.
The woman who did the work said it was hard.
Most condoms are made from thin latex, are not meant to be reused due to the risk of breakage. Also, may I point out, it's fucking gross.
Well, if you
Can you
knew they were
imagine?
used, of course. But if you
Because
thought
it's
they were
not-
new,
It goes deeper than that, Darren. It's deeper than that. Think with me, okay? Use critical thinking here. Just think about
okay,
this.
all right,
This,
I'm on it. I'm on
this
it.
this little Vietnamese dude went hunting for used condoms on the daily, enough to get 300,000 of them within a certain period of time. Number one. Number two, he had to clean them out,
Yep. Uh-huh.
right?
Well, he
Like,
seemed to have a system. He had this woman, and there was a wooden penis, and then they boiled him, and then so it was a
Yeah,
system.
no, but you can't. Obviously, he's not just bringing these things ad hoc, like full of man stuff. He's obviously not doing that. He's getting them out, and all I could think of when I read that story was like, you ever have a big freezy?
Yeah.
You know, where you grab the end, and you're like this, trying to get the rest of it out. That's all I could think about was this little Vietnamese guy just like doing these freezy moves, squeezing out all this stuff, and then
Well,
I
maybe
thought,
he doesn't do that. Maybe
and then
he
I
just
thought
puts them in
about
the water.
and then I thought, geez, this couldn't have been the first time.
Maybe he just puts them in the water and boils it out. Boils all the junk out, and then he makes soup and feeds it to people.
Sorry, hang on. You okay?
Yeah, I saw your podcast.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm live right now, dude. That's my kid. Came up here. He's like, sorry, thought you're podcasting. I am. See, can't do that on the radio.
He's like, I heard you talking about condoms, and I want to know what's going on.
Yeah,
Am I in
yeah.
trouble?
Yeah. Hey,
Dad,
hey,
did you find my?
he's
Dad,
like,
did you find my used condom stash?
he's like, Dad, if you're back to using domers, you wouldn't mind just putting them in this bag when you're done. That'd be great.
There must be a spot.
I got a fucking sweet gig with this lady in Vietnam. It's anyway, I don't want to talk about her.
You know, Dean, there must be a spot somewhere in like Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi or wherever
Yeah.
where you go into this like field or alley and there's literally thousands of condoms on the ground.
No, I did some research. So this is what happens. There are places. No, I'm not joking. There are burlesque houses. There are places in Scandinavia, Europe, Eastern Europe, your Germanys, your Austrias, mostly your Germanys, and like Taiwan, Thailand, probably Vietnam as well, where they get them out of like brothels. So the guy will go around to the brothels. He'll collect them all in bunches. And so, yeah, that's how he's doing that.
And the guy's probably stoked. He's like, you're going to take all my used condoms for me? Yep.
Yeah, no
Done.
questions asked. Have I got a deal for you?
I love it. This guy's going to come around every day and harvest these used condoms.
Yeah, it's the same people that come around looking through my recycling all the time.
Yeah, come
Same
around.
thing. It's the
Get
same
it?
thing. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Have
Have you ever broken off a condom in use in the middle of the action?
You know what? I'd have to check.
Your records?
I know.
your file. Check your video files.
Dude,
Dean?
I write everything down. Look at this. This is my meeting book. So when I have meetings and we talk, I come up with things and I write them down in my meeting book. So
Hold
if
on a
it's a
second,
sexual encounter, it's in here. I guarantee
I'll
you.
have to check, he said. I'll have to check.
Yeah.
I'll have to check the old record book.
Check the old record book, you
Back in
see?
2006. Yes, Darren. It says right here.
Broke through
Condom
condom.
broke off.
Go see doctor.
Got lost inside of this
Go
woman.
see doctor.
The follow-up, the next page, says
Yeah.
that she found it the next day.
Can I just bring? I need to switch gears a little bit. Darrin Pfeiffer, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Darrin Pfeiffer of the rock and roll band Goldfinger, of course, legendary broadcaster, music producer, and the host of a podcast called the Dangerous Darrin Podcast on Adobe Radio. You can also get the Dangerous Darrin Podcast at deanblundell.com. As of now, you can go there, download it. Just go boom, click, click, click. There you go. Download the podcast.
I had a Canadian on the show today.
Who's that?
Derek Wibley from Sum 41 Part 2.
Do you know that he and I didn't like each other 20 years ago? I don't know where he stands with me now, but I wouldn't mind hashing it out.
I'm sure you and him would get along famously, right?
Because I have the same constitution he has now. we share something very similar in common, and I really have come to respect that guy. I really, really have, for what he did professionally when he was younger. I just thought it was cool to be an asshole, so I was an asshole to him. So if you see him, tell him I'm really sorry. I know I was a prick, and I'd love to talk to him.
Absolutely. I talked to him just today, so I'll pass it along to him.
What'd you guys talk about today?
We talked about the second half of the interview, which was long, and we got into second part of his recovery, of his near-death experience. And then we talked about getting Dave Brown Sound back in the band, which no one thought would happen, but it did. And he's back in the band, and they're recording new music and going around the world. And he became a father for the first time less than a year ago to a baby boy named Leiden.
Yeah.
Him and his wife. And he's just living the dream. He's in Sherman Oaks, California, right close to me. And he's sober. He's got a kid. He's got a studio in his house. He's a survivor. He's doing great.
Yeah, his story was like, sobriety was forced on him, right?
It was, yeah. We would hang out and drink a lot when I was playing drums with him for a little while. And after the band would leave, we'd go into his kitchen and put a few away. But I would put like maybe 2 beers away, and he'd have like 7 or 8 drinks. He went hard, really hard. And he's
not a big dude either. Like, he's not a big guy. That's
no, not really. His liver shut down and his kidney shut down. So the doctors said, you take one more drink, literally one more drink, and you could just, that's it. Like, he came that close to dying. And yeah,
he was in the hospital for a long time too, wasn't he?
A month and a half. He was there for a long time.
Did he talk about that experience in the podcast?
He did.
What did
it's well documented.
What did he say that was like? And I want, by the way, I'm going to go listen to this podcast when I'm done, because I'm fascinated by people that have lived that life and have made it, because it's a tough journey for a lot of people. So what did he say? Sorry.
When he came out of it, and the doctor's like, you've had your fun. I think you've had your fun, Derek. And, now it's time to not, live. I think you have family that love you. A wife that loves you. You got band that loves you, and adoring fans around the world. It's time to stop, because if you don't, you'll die. Like, you can drink all you want, but if you do, you'll die. And he was like, okay, got it. I'm on it. And, I think when most people are faced with that kind of life or death situation, they tend to lean towards life.
Sure.
Some don't, but most do.
Yeah, I know some that haven't, obviously taking part in the process of sobriety and doing it in a way that's authentic. You can't get in the way of that either. That's the tough part, right? And so when you see people and you hear people whose stories are like Derek's, and they become great examples of capability, living in the moment and being able to capture happiness again. Because a lot of people, when they give up that lifestyle, they think, well, I'm never going to have fun again, right? But it's a very different fun. Like, now the fun that I have is very, very organic, and it means something to me because you've put the work into the relationship to have some fun, and there's something there. It's being in the moment. So, I would love to talk to him. And I was just an entitled prick back when we obviously didn't get along. So it would be great.
I'll set that up. I'll do my best to set that up. He'd probably love to come on your show and talk.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. Real quick, I wanted to touch base on this contest that we're doing called Show Us Your Pod. It's with Blue Microphones, at Blue Microphones on Twitter, the official microphone of the DeanBlundell.com podcast network, and really, really thankful for these guys. They're awesome. When we came to them with this concept, because it was really fucking important to us to be able to put something together for people to be able to podcast, get their content out, and we knew how hard it was for all of us, and so it was really important that we do this. And Blue was like, yeah, absolutely, we love it. And they're such huge proponents of people getting out and producing content, whether it's gaming, whether it's whatever. We're into podcasting, moving into gaming. That's a whole other thing I can't talk about. But we want to set you up. So what you do is you go to deanblundell.com, go to the front page, down at the bottom on the right-hand side, not even at the bottom, halfway on the right-hand side, it's to Show Us Your Pod. Click on it, and you can enter, and it's really simple. You just send us a link. So the link is just to where we can find your podcast. You leave your phone number, email address, and we've already listened to, I think we've had 14 entries. We've listened to, I think, 12 of the podcasts, and some of them are really fucking good. Like that's what I was shocked about. And I shouldn't be shocked, because you can find content anywhere. There's so many people doing so many great things, and it goes to show you can get it anywhere too, right? But there are so many good people that are doing such great work. I was blown away by 80 to 90% of the stuff that I heard. Like blown away by
Yeah.
how funny it was in some cases, how interesting it was, how inane and dumb it was, but it was still funny because it was inane and dumb and done for a purpose. But there are a lot of people out there that have good stuff that don't get it heard, right? It's like music, I guess.
Yeah, and I love the idea of you doing this contest. It's unique. I don't remember ever hearing about send us your podcast contest. It's so you're kind of on the curve, ahead of the curve there.
On the tip, the reservoir tip.
On the reservoir tip. Yeah, we need a bit of boom thing.
Yeah,
I should have a drum set up right here.
Why don't you?
A little real one, snare and a little cymbal.
What about just an electric drum set? Think that one through. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I could get a snare drum and just put it right here.
Let's go.
A little cymbal.
Let's go.
Like a Howard Stern's guy did. And you didn't see Private Parts.
No, I haven't yet. I'm gonna.
But my friend sent me a podcast called Dumpster Talk. He is a guy named Mike Smith, and they call him Mike Smith. That's his name, Mike Smith. And he's in a band called Organ Thieves with Dave Brownstown from Sum 41 and Chuck Coles from The Creep Show. And he has a called Dumpster Talk, and it's actually really good. It's only 3 episodes in, and he wanted me to send that to you. So I'll send that to you. So look out for that.
No, but he's got to enter it. He just goes to the webpage and just clicks the link and then fills in his name.
What he wanted me to do is he wanted me to give you
you wanted a little grease me. You want a little, yeah. Tell him to send it in and do the same thing because it's got to go through the process. We can't just.
Right.
I can't
take favors.
No, man, I'm real socialist when it comes to content. I really am. I want everybody to go on the same wavelength. I want everybody to get the same in. But yeah, send it. I would love to hear it. What is it about? And see, that's the thing. These podcasts don't have to be about anything. Or
that's the best thing about
anything.
About podcasting, Dean, what you're doing, what I'm doing, whatever everyone's doing,
right.
is there's really no rules. You can do whatever you want. You can have structure with imaging. You can have in music and out music, or you can just turn on the mic and start talking. Yeah. There's no rules, and as long as it's engaging and you make the person want to keep listening, you're on to something.
Yeah, absolutely. And people don't have a way to. There's two needs I've realized in this industry. A lot of different people that don't have the equipment and they don't have the information as to how they push their stuff, like how they get it out. And so this is why we created the network, because when we started doing this, everybody started to kind of come on and it was like, hey, can you do? Yeah, for sure. Come on, let's go and have a good time. Now it's turned into a thing. We realized we want to create more things, right? So if you go to deanblundell.com and you enter your podcast, we're not going to rip you, so don't worry. I'm not going to bring you like little clips of your podcast on and go, this guy's probably an idiot.
We'll do that out in private.
Yeah.
Me and you.
Yeah, because it's fucking hard. Like, it takes the best of yourself, right, to do this kind of work. It really, really does. So I understand that there's a little personal anxiety associated. So we're not going to shit on your stuff, which is, I promise you. But send us your stuff, because Blue is going to outfit the winner of our Show Us Your Pod contest with this brand new Yeti X microphone, the greatest, the biggest, the best. It's awesome. USB microphone.
Nice. Yep.
It's a defining microphone in the podcast broadcast industry. That's what they said on the thing, defining. We're also going to set you up with these Blue headphones. Hope you don't mind if I take them off. Show you. These Blue headphones. They're Emmy-winning headphones, by the way. And you charge them. I can just take a. In fact, they're wireless. But at the same time, you charge them, and they only work when you open them up and put them on, and then when you take them off again and close them and put them down, they shut off automatically. They're fucking awesome, incredible. And the sound is unreal. Nice big heavy headphone, not too heavy either, but just like it's a solid headphone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, these are stolen. I stole these.
You took those from the Edge, didn't you? Years ago.
I did.
Yeah, boy. I have
allegedly. I should admit to a crime. I allegedly took them.
No, you're fine. So anyway, we want to outfit you with the Blue Yeti microphone. We want to
upset you. We want to
upset you with these beautiful new headphones, and we're also going to give you a Yeti mic arm too. So, and the mic arm, which is a mic boom, it sits on your desk, comes down, you can play with it. I'm getting one too, by the way.
So are you getting one too, Dean?
Yeah. Get one? Mm-hmm. I just miss grabbing a microphone and reefing it around, because that was my thing. I just grab a microphone and reef it. This is boring to me. I got to be able to, grab it and open it up and take it out and play with it a bit. That's what I got to do.
Yeah, like your junk. You got to take it out, grab it, play with it a little bit.
Yeah, that's how I feel. So that's what I do. So do us a favor, do yourself a favor. If you've got a podcast and you want to podcast with us and be part of the DeanBlundell.com network, win all that beautiful gear from Blue Microphones, go to deanblundell.com, and all you got to do is fill out the thing, give us a link, and it's all there. It's super self-contained. You don't have to download, upload, none of that shit. Yeah, we'll do the work. Make it easy for you.
And also, each contestant, each entry in a podcast contest
Here we
gets
go.
50 used condoms from Vietnam.
I knew something.
You can do whatever you want with them.
Yeah, we did
They're
a
all
partnership.
yours.
We did a partnership with this little weird Vietnamese guy. He was outside, so we did a partnership with him. You give me 50 used condoms, I'll talk about your condoms.
We'll tell your story on air.
Yeah. No, so go and fill out that stuff, because what we want to do is we also want to add that podcast to the DeanBlundell.com network. So you'll be part of what we do. You'll get social pushes. We'll advertise your stuff like we do with other people. So make sure you do that. It's the Show Us Your Pod contest from Blue Microphones, at Blue Microphones on Twitter. Go to DeanBlundell.com for more information and to link all the way through. Thanks to our friends at Owner's Box and Blue Microphones. Owner's Box Fantasy
Blue mics
Sports.
are sharp.
Yeah, they are. They're incredible. Owner's
They
Box
are
Fantasy
sharp
Sports.
mics.
Go to DeanBlundell.com right now and click on the little thing on the top. What it does when you see Drew Brees, who's a spokesperson, Drew Brees, investor, Drew Brees, businessman, Drew Brees, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, Drew Brees.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, when you see the picture of Drew Brees, you click on it, and you're going to be playing some fantasy football with us on the weekend. Dude, it's incredible. Honest to God. You sit there and you just hit refresh, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna for like 8 hours on a Sunday. You can't help yourself. And you can play with Owner's Bucks. It's free to sign up, and they'll also give you a $50 deposit match if you sign up and put in real money. That's how they work. And then you got payouts every week, too, like payouts all the time. They always pay out. They've got the highest payout of any fantasy thing in the world. What's that? Go ahead.
Did you bet on any of the games last week?
I bet on like 4 of them. Yeah, I was a part of 16 pools.
Wow,
16. 4-man, 2-man, 4-man, custom pools, MVP, private pools. You got to do it, dude. Check it out. It's incredible.
I'm going to do it today, for sure.
Ownersbox.com. Ed at Ed's Fine Imports. Get some Gitch from Ed. I've got some here. You can get some too. Ed's Fine Gitch. You see this stuff? You see this? See this? Boxer briefs. Boxer briefs. If you use promo code GITCH, GITCH with the number 3, when you go to edsfineimports.com, he'll send you one free pair of underwear when you buy 3. So you basically, it's like free underwear and incredibly comfortable. They're luxury underwear, by the way. We don't peddle tidy whities here. It's luxury underwear.
Is anybody wearing them anymore?
Edsfineimports.com. Yeah, dude. Everybody wears Gitch. It's disgusting if you don't.
No, I mean tidy whities. Is there people wearing those anymore?
They're mostly just perverts.
And Borat.
Yeah. Like I said, perverts.
High five!
High five! You're very nice.
Very nice!
So go to edsfineimports.com. Thanks to all our sponsors. Thanks to everybody for doing this. Thanks to Sean Sargent, who produced the whole thing. Don't forget to sign up for a newsletter, DeanBlundell.com. Darrin, thank you. At Darrin99 on Twitter. Dangerous Darrin. Is it Darrin99 on Instagram as well?
Instagram is just Darrin Pfeiffer, one whole word.
Oh, my fucking God.
Darrin Pfeiffer. Yeah, I got no spell it.
And go and download his podcast on Adobe Network or right here at DeanBlundell.com. You can check it out. It's called The Dangerous Darrin Podcast with TS. Tony Hawk.
And we
Derek
also
Woodley,
hope that our friend Darryl Sprig feels better. Or not. Maybe he had too many used condoms in his stomach. I don't know.
That's disgusting.
It is.
I didn't
Look
like
it up.
thinking of it.
Google Rod Stewart condoms.
No.
Or Rod Stewart.
No,
semen.
that's a fucking urban myth.
Of course it is, but it's a thing.
Google Nick Lachey and 98 degrees / stomach pumping.
Serious?
No, of course not.
Oh,
it's a fucking urban myth.
I was going to do
Jesus fucking Christ, Darrin.
When you talk, Dean, I listen, and I listen. Believe you.
Don't listen. Thanks for doing this, dude. I'll chat with you soon. Thanks so much.
For sure.
Darrin Pfeiffer, ladies and gentlemen, on the Dean Blundell Show here at DeanBlundell.com. Thanks for listening. We are wrapping up. Watching, listening. I'm used to saying listening, watching, listening. Don't forget to download our podcast as well, wherever you get your podcast, if you're listening. Do. That's it. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye. Ba-bum-ba-bum-bum. You believe me.